Hey folks, thanks for checking this video out. Today is part 2 of learning to play guitar from scratch. Okay, part 1 we just simply discussed getting a guitar, something that's comfortable, getting some guitar picks, a tuner, the essential gear for learning to play guitar. Okay, so let's get going with lesson 2. All right, so after you've got the gear, you're ready to go, what do? Again, you can't just jump in and start playing songs because we don't know how to play yet. So today I want to discuss a couple things. The first thing is taking care of your hands, warming up, stretching, whatever you want to do. Okay, I mean, you can do a Google search and find countless ways to stretch your hands, keep them loose. For me personally, a lot is my wrists. I like to stretch my wrists, the back and the front a lot. My fingers, for the most part, are okay. I don't stretch them a lot, but it's gonna be up to you. You know, choosing those stretches or those warm ups. Rolling the wrists, whatever you need to do. Get the blood flowing. Get your hands loose. Okay. The second thing, let's talk about hand position on the guitar. I've seen throughout my years of teaching a lot of people who start out grab the guitar like this. Now, there are times when I'll grab it. There's times when I'll have this kind of hand positioning. What I like to teach is think about it like you're holding a tennis ball or a baseball. You kind of have that sort of grip going on. And so your thumb's not hanging over the top. It's not way down at the bottom like this. It's kind of in the middle, at the back of the guitar neck, pointed up. Not to the side like this, not this way, but pointed up, slightly relaxed behind the guitar. That's kind of the happy medium hand position. There will be times when you pull your thumb further down. There'll be times when you pull your thumb up. What happens though is when your thumb comes up, you can't actually spread your fingers apart. The further down your thumb goes, the wider you could spread your fingers. They both have their application. We'll get to that in later lessons. That's your playing hand position. Your picking, again, in the beginning, I've noticed a lot of people, I did the same thing, is grab the pick with 3 fingers, your index, middle, and thumb, and kind of the point of the pick pointed with your fingers like that. The problem is that can kind of have a clunky feel and sound. Okay, I've seen others do it with their thumb and middle finger. For those of you around my age, Eddie Van Halen did that kind of thing. There's no real right or wrong. I'm just gonna give you some guidelines because, of course, down the road you'll be developing your own style and technique. But I highly recommend thumb and first finger or index finger like that. And when your arm is resting against the guitar, the point should be pretty much pointed at the guitar. Okay, if I'll have it pointed with my thumb, it's not going to work so nice. So point of the pick towards the guitar, holding the pick with thumb and first finger. Don't fuss too much. It'll develop over time. These are just some guidelines to get you started being comfortable holding the guitar. All right, so there's some quick tips on how to position both your hands. But let's start with the first exercise I always teach kind of absolute beginners learning from scratch is any string on the guitar. Let's choose the smallest string or the first string and take your first finger anywhere. I'll put it right here at the 3rd fret. Remember, these little metal pieces are called frets. So I'm just going to put my finger right there. You'll notice I'm not on top of it. I'm not way in the middle here. I'm right behind the 3rd fret. Okay, I'm going to push the string down, not too hard, not too light. If I do it too light, you're not going to get a note. So I push it down so it's against the fret. I got a nice solid note. All right, here's the exercise. Take your first finger, play that note. Take your second finger, play the note on the next fret on the same string. And you notice I'm looking over at my picking hand. Completely normal when you're starting out. Get your fingers positioned, look over, make sure you're hitting the right string, and then you're good to go. And pluck that string. So here it is. I'm just going to simply go this. Fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and fourth finger or pinky, and then go backwards. Pinky, third finger, second finger, first finger. Okay, real straightforward, making sure you're plucking the correct string. But I definitely encourage you, do this all over the guitar. Do it, down to the low notes. Do it high up. Okay, paying attention to where your thumb is. If it's too high, you're not going to be able to reach those notes with your fingers. If it's too low, it might get uncomfortable on your wrist. Find a happy medium. Pluck the correct string. Now, when it comes to picking, you'll notice I could go like this. Watch my pick hand. I'm just plucking down. I can do the same thing. I'm plucking up. Okay? The goal eventually down the road is to be able to do it with what's called alternate picking. Down, the next note, I'm picking up, the next note, picking down, and then up. Okay? Real straightforward, real simple, but it gets you using all your fingers, and it gets your picking hand getting used to picking specific strings. Picking up, picking down, alternate picking, down, up, down, up. You're getting familiar with the basic movements. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can come up with any combination. I can go 1, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2, 3, 1. Remember those numbers, the finger numbers. Yeah, you can come up with so many. Okay, so that's playing individual notes on the guitar. The second thing, of course, guitar playing isn't really guitar playing without strumming. You all seen this? Right, that's what most of us are familiar with. Enunciate. When it comes to basic guitar playing, is strumming some chords. Okay, when it comes to strumming, it's not just your wrist like this, and it's not just your arm. It's keeping your elbow and your wrist, how tight you're holding your pick, a little loose and relaxed. So this is what I would say. Again, it's not going to sound like a song, but just strum all the strings up, down, or probably start with a down, down, up, like this. Okay, from the elbow a little bit, from the wrist a little bit, a relatively light grip on the pick, and just let it flow like that. Again, down the road you'll develop your own style. Okay, those are your basic movements, picking individual notes and strumming. Now, a little tip that may help. When I was learning earlier, when I was a kid, I actually watched a lot of people play, whether it was on music videos, live concerts, this sort of thing. But I was always watching how they moved their hands, how they held the guitar. And that really did help a lot. I probably learned, I bet you 90% of technique by just simply watching people play. So I recommend that. Get on YouTube, go to some concerts, whatever it is, watch how they move their hands and mimic it, Okay, that's what I wanted to cover, except one more thing actually. Just looking at my notes here, I get the question a lot, do I or should I buy guitar method books like from a music store or Amazon? And should I stick with one teacher or can I go to multiples? And I say, yeah, do it all. When I was learning, I collected, you can probably see over my shoulder there on the bookshelf, lots of guitar books, theory books, technique books, any resource I could get my hands on. Didn't have YouTube back then, or I would have been on there too. Go for it. Draw from as many resources as you can with one warning. Make sure they're credible sources. Of course, if you go to a music store and get guitar method books, obviously they're put out by actual publishers, so they're great. On YouTube, not everybody teaches the same. Not everybody presents the information the same. So find, if it's YouTube, find something you kind of connect with. You really like their style of teaching, or maybe the style of music they're teaching. But I just want to end this video saying, yes, draw from multiple resources if you can. All right. Okay. There you have it. Lesson 2 on learning guitar from scratch. Keep at it. And yeah, we'll get to some songs soon. See you then.